Okay, so let's see. I am lying down. Put Alright, so what's the purpose of this video? I'm holding the phone close so you can hear it and understand. I'm going to describe to you what it's like to be tortured by somebody that in a verbal kind of abusive way. I'm going to describe it to you. Because otherwise, how else could I possibly get it off of my mind? The reason I'm clearing my throat like that is because I'm sensitive. And the person who is upstairs is a stamper. And every time they stop, it goes into my throat. The energy is just right into my throat. Anyway, so they do it on purpose to stomp a lot. That's another story in itself, why they would do that. But anyway, so in order for me to speak, I have a low voice and my phone is broken, so I have to hold the phone close. Now, I've been on many road trips across America that I would spend months on. So when I used to do a road trip, I would have music with me. In the 80s, I used to use cassettes so that I wouldn't have to listen to commercials. And then I would listen to certain songs that I liked, John Cougar Mellencamp. I liked Moody Blues, In Search of a Lost Chord. I always liked that In the Wilderness, to listen to that album. I used to listen to Syd Barrett a lot. Now you can see me listening to death metal, which I do like. I didn't always like death metal because I did not understand it, but I learned to understand it, and I tried to listen to things that I wouldn't buy their albums, but I do like listening to rap songs, to listen to the lyrics and the type of things they add to the music. That is like the chimes. I like the timing of the chimes. I like the repetitive piano stuff. I like the way they do the reggae on the guitar. That's something I wouldn't normally play myself because it's like, you have to learn how to do that. It's very cool though, and they use a different type of timing, like a 3/4 timing or something, and the way they stop the chords from making noise, and I think that's really cool for the reggae stuff. And then the hip hop stuff, I like 50 Cent, and then I like I sort of like some of the messages in there. I mean, I know some of the messages are very violent, so I don't think there's any way to stop the violent messages, because that's how it is on the street. And then when I used to drive around in Texas, I used to like trying to listen to country, which can lead into the blues and stuff, but country has its ups and downs for me. Anyway, I have to hold the phone close because it's broken. The microphone got wet or something, or I dropped it. Anyway, I just want to tell you what it's like for me to be treated a certain way, and the person who does it to this day still thinks they have not done anything wrong to me. It's just so horrific how my own brother, like I'm supposed to hide that? No, I'm not going to hide it. I've tried every way, shape, or form to get along with him. And he's so hateful towards me. It's unfathomable how much my brother hates me. So then, you would think me, as an older brother, someone who drove a Greyhound, someone who used to own a house in Pennsylvania, that I could just tell my brother, get on the, and I used to have a girlfriend in New Jersey for like 6 years. So I know how to get to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And, basically I don't even need a map. I would just say, go this way, go that way, go this way, go that way. And then when we got closer, but maybe he was thinking that he would save time, because he actually went the way that he didn't want to go because he was, I don't know, he missed an exit or something. Of course, he tries to blame that on me. Like, can you imagine you're sitting there not paying any attention to the route you're going because you don't know what he's doing? Because he has the GPS on and he turns it on super loud. You think he's listening to the GPS, You know what I'm saying? Where am I? I'm right here. See? But I have to hold the phone away. So anyway, I'm not paying any attention because he's using the shit out of me. And so anything I say, he's telling me to shut the fuck up. That's how he speaks to me, And I'm stupid. I'm sitting there trying to get along with him because he's my brother. He's treating me as bad as you could possibly treat another human being. I don't think you can treat another human being worse than that unless you physically hit them, punch them, or tie them up. Everything I say is wrong, and you won't listen to anything I say. He won't go to any place I say to go. He won't take any of my directions. And this is a continuation of the story with the sunglasses of what he did to me. Actually, it was before the sunglasses. It was another time. But it was the sunglass one, yes, and then there was a time before that, before Christmas. So let's forget the sunglass one and do this one. This was before Christmas when we went to Lancaster. And then on Christmas I never seen him. He hates me. But anyway, you know how New Jersey has swamps? And New Jersey has the Pine Barrens, but it also has something they call marshland. And if you know anything about history, and I used to study since I was very young, even when I was 17, gonna sneeze. Anyway, that's because the fan is probably blowing out some dust or something. I have allergies. So anyway, you know that America used to have a lot of marshland around New Jersey when the American Indians used to live, before pollution, before, say, the 14th century, 13th century, 15th century, 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, and the beginning of the 19th century. And I'm talking about a lot of marshland, and especially in New Jersey. And this marshland would filter out all the bad water. That's what swamps do. It filters out the bad water and purifies it with all the plants. But it doesn't do that in pollution, because it gets all the pollution, tries to purify the water, but it ends up getting all the bad water in it because it's so dirty, the water, and it smells and it gets contaminated, and all the swamp, it is swampy, but all the wetlands, they start to die. And so New Jersey has a lot of poisons in the water, and so did under the Pulaski Bridge. I studied American Indian survival skills for years, and I used to live out west in Oregon, and I used to have teachers from college that taught me how to live off the land, and I stayed in the U.S. in the Army training camp, learning survival skills in the middle of nowhere. And so I know about this stuff. I studied it since I was a teenager, and then so LaGuardia Airport used to be Bloomfield Beach, the same as Coney Island in the middle of the 18th century. LaGuardia Airport used to be a beach. So when I was a kid, I used to always wonder, how come the Grand Central all of a sudden cuts off and there's like a miniature cliff or something? When I was a little kid, like I'm talking about 9 years old, 7 years old, 6 years old, 12 years old, I was always the type of guy, I guess I'm a nerd, who would notice something. I noticed there was a lot of land missing, and it looked like the people who owned the houses in the early 70s, it wasn't like that, and the people had a backyard, and then all of a sudden there was a cliff. That's because they made the Grand Central larger because it was flooding a lot, and they moved the Grand Central inland, and they moved it away from what they had. The 1964 World's Fair was on the outside, and the highway used to be more towards the marina, and then they left the marina and everything the way it was, and they moved the highway in, and LaGuardia Airport, you know where that is, used to be a beach. I'm not talking about when I was alive. I'm talking about 1865. You can look it up. It was called Bloomfield something, like Bloomfield Steinway Queens Beach or something like that. And so anyway, the point of the story is everybody knows, almost everybody that lives in this area knows that if you go to New Jersey and you go to one of those outer bridges in Staten Island. Now, I don't have anything written down, and I'm not looking at a map, and I haven't been driving over those bridges in a while, but you can look them up on the map. All of them, every single bridge that comes out of Staten Island, and this Verrazano Bridge is used to be the highest bridge in the world. It's not anymore, but it's pretty high. And then when you were crossing a bridge in New Jersey that's heading towards Staten Island, any of those bridges, there's a few bridges, everyone knows that it smells really bad because of the New Jersey pollution. Because New Jersey, they has, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to poison the water, poison the marshland. The marshland, there's a lot of marshland around that, that place where they had concerts in New Jersey. I think it's called the Meadowlands. It's even called the Meadowlands as you're heading a bit north. That's all marshland. So New Jersey has a lot of marshland, and LaGuardia Airport, I mentioned it because if you look at an old photo of 1865, you could see the marshland. Not only did the marshland travel for miles and miles and miles, I don't even know how far out it went into the ocean. Pretty far, pretty deep. And then you could even LaGuardia Airport has marshland, swampland. Even over by JFK, they have marshland. So let's just add the word swamp to it. And everyone knows that it smells really bad from the pollution. Now, what's the word that I don't like to use? A word that I don't like that would bother me a lot if somebody was using it. There's a lot of words that I don't like. And I went to college for poetry. I was trying to study how to write music and lyrics so that I play guitar and stuff. And I was in a band, whatever. But anyway, the point of my story is, I have to get up. And then, so the point of my story is very, very simple. Is that when I was traveling with my brother, and we're going through that marshland, and this whole story is about my brother, not about the marshland. I'm the type of person that's very sensitive, and I'm like when I'm at somebody's restaurant or house or in their car, I'm very respectful. But my brother teaches me like shit, and so basically when it was winter out, it was very cold out, and it was like let's say 20 degrees out, but it felt like it was below zero. I think it was actually 7 degrees out at the time. And so, being a survivalist, anyone would know, even if you're not, but a survivalist is the level at which you understand survival. Everyone has a capacity of understanding survivalism, or if they're not trained, the capacity to not understand it and completely screw it up. That's the weird thing about survivalism, is that if you don't care about it, or if you don't think about it, or if you don't try, or if you don't think that there is survivalism and it's built into you, and you don't listen to your inner soul, that you will completely screw up the elements of how to survive and become a regular city person and kill yourself in the woods. That's a trick to survivalism. So if you wanted to know what makes me different, that's it. That's one thing. But okay, so I always had a saying, like if people ask me, how would you beat someone up in the woods that was picking on you and trying to kill you? And I said, well, I wouldn't have to, because if I was in the woods, as long as I didn't help them to survive, and if they didn't know how to, all I would have to do is not help them, and they wouldn't live very long, because people just don't know how to. But anyway, then what happened is, with that smell of the marshlands, my brother started accusing me that I farted. And I told him, I said, what are you talking about? I didn't even eat. I had an enema like the night before. My stomach is completely empty. And then he turns that into that. Everything I say, he turns it into that. That's the reason why I farted, because I had an enema. People who are narcissistic are sick people, and they're very hateful and negative. So if you speak to them and you try to get along with them, they take everything you say and they twist it and they turn it against you. And that's why you can't hang out or have a relationship with a narcissist, because they're out of their fucking minds. And they only think about their own well-being and themselves. And so, basically, he said the word fart like maybe 1,200 times on the trip. And I don't like that word. I mean, first of all, if we wanted to go into the scientific lab of what a fart is, a human being doesn't, the word fart is a four-letter word with the word A-R-T, art, and the F in the front. But the gas that people complain about isn't something that a human makes. People get that from sugar in their colon, and you have these little tiny microscopic things that live in there, and they eat the sugar, and they create gas, which is a lot of gas, and it has nothing to do with, a human doesn't create that. It's something that happens inside of a person when they eat sugar, and it's this air that comes off these microscopic, whatever they are, bacteria, and then, like you have the good ones. Good ones are in the yogurt. The good ones kill the bad ones, and the good things in the yogurt are the ones that eat up or get rid of the bad ones. But if you take antibiotics for any reason, it kills the good ones. And you can get the good ones from asparagus, you can get it from yogurt, and you can get it from kabuka, the bubbly stuff, the tea that you drink with the mushroom thing, and those are the good ones. And anyway, so, and then I have to keep hearing this word, like as if I'm like a stupid rock, and then it speaks to me like I'm the stupidest idiot, like I'm a, I don't know, like what am I to him, like a Dumbo, like he speaks to me like he's a Dumbo, and then I'm the Dumbo, I do, as soon as I crack the window 2 inches, he rips down every window in the car, because he already knows, and he thinks in his mind that the only reason I'm opening the window is because I farted. And he's been doing this procedure to me for years. You would see him look, and as soon as my hand goes towards the window, whoosh, all the windows fly down. He does the same thing when I want to leave the car. He puts on the child safety lock, and then when I can't get out, he's looking at me. And then after a while, he opens the door, and he says, "Oh, I didn't have the child." He goes, "I had the door was open all the time. You must have locked it with your arm, And then, so basically, I'm being tortured. You know how long the ride is to Lancaster? I'm being fucking tortured. The whole 9 yards. The whole ride to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The whole thing. He's saying the same thing to me over and over again. I try to break out of it and break out of his hatred and say, "Listen, I didn't fart." He immediately talks over me. He says, "You should do it." And he's speeding up their speed too. He seems to know that I don't like it when someone talks over me, but I also don't like that vibe. And he's also speeding up the vocabulary of how he speaks, and he's trying to make me argue. And you see, I talk slow, right? It's like something he seems to think he wins when I stop speaking. I didn't, and that, I pause before I say the word fart, because I don't like that word. So I say, "I didn't." "Yes, you did." I'm like, "What are you talking to me about?" "You shut the fuck up. I don't need to drive in a car that smells like shit." I'm like, holy shit, he's going like really off the deep end in his fabricated story. I'm like, what? "Oh, don't have to understand. You told me that you had an enema last night." Like he caught me. Like he caught me off guard. I'm thinking, "What are you, stupid? You don't even know what an enema is? That means I don't have anything in my stomach." He's so fucking stupid. And then I'm thinking, wow, he's probably not gonna stop for food. So then we stop for food, right? At a rest stop. And then what happens next? "You go in first." So he fucking takes a piss right where he parks his car in a rest stop. How legal is that? right in the rest stop, in front of whatever, everyone. He just fucking takes a piss right there on the side of his car. And as I'm walking into the rest stop, he walks by me like I don't exist, like I'm a nobody. He doesn't walk in there with me. And he walks straight to the Burger King line. He doesn't want to buy me a coffee is why he's doing this. And then he's standing there like he doesn't know me, which is one of the things I noticed that he does. He loves standing on line acting shiny and new. And he's standing there, and I start walking over to where the bathroom is, and it just happens to be where the Burger King is, where he's getting his coffee. And so as I'm walking towards him, you can see the hate streaming off of him. Like, oh, he's like starting to move around and feel uneasy and uncomfortable. He's like, you could see him like rolling his eyes and looking at me, batting his eyes. What a fucking asshole. And then I go into the bathroom and I feel completely dislodged by somebody treating me like this horrible way. And then when I come out, he's still acting like this. And then he shuffles himself because I guess he didn't like the coffee and he threw it out. He's too stupid to return it and get his money back. And then I'm drinking coffee that I made. And then I go to Starbucks, the most expensive one. I just get a small regular coffee for $4. Because I don't want to make the same mistake he made. Obviously, I don't want to buy a piece of shit Burger King crap shit coffee for saving money, and they're gonna serve me dog shit, I know how to make coffee. I know how to grind my own beans. My roommate used to work for Starbucks as a manager, just to give me free coffee all the time. I know all about coffee, and so anyway, so then I pay for my coffee at Starbucks, and you know how black people get mistreated by white people? I also get mistreated by white people because I have long hair, I look like a drifter, and I got that not a regular person vibe. They mistreat the shit out of me. They treat me like crap. They treat me like garbage. They treat me like I'm not civilized. The only time they treat me nice is when I wear a suit and a tie, like when I drove a Greyhound bus. Name, and the next thing they'll say is the question, the rhetorical question, which I also hate. They'll ask, "How are you?" They'll get personal with you, like as if it's any of their business, without telling you who they really are, and they're asking you how you are, as if they give a shit, and the next thing they want is just to steal from you. But anyway, so I lost track of what I was saying, but we were in the diner in the rest stop. So I come out. He was probably thinking, oh man, that was a close one. I thought he was coming over to see me online. No, I was going to the bathroom. And then I came out of the bathroom. The people weren't that nice to me in the bathroom, but they were a lot nicer to me than my brother was. Think about that. Like, complete strangers in the bathroom would stand aside, let me go out the door. It was very nice of them, instead of like just walking into me. And then I came out, my brother had already hightailed his ass to the 7-Eleven because he wanted to get some, oh yeah, this is part of the sunglass time, I think. Yeah, it is. I remember now because when he went to 7-Eleven, he thought I was going to steal sunglasses. And this is a different 7-Eleven. This isn't the one that the story happened in last time. And so then anyway, I got I was getting coffee after I went to the bathroom, and I went to Starbucks, and he went to 7-Eleven because he wanted to be slick. So he got himself two, you know those iced teas from Lipton? He got himself two iced teas, and I guess I would imagine he got it with no lemon in it, because if there's lemon in it, that's weird. And then he probably got it with no sugar and no lemon in a bottle, because now he was pissed off because he wasted his money at Burger King and he got a shitty coffee. And then I yeah, okay, hi everyone. I see you said hi. I didn't the reason I wasn't looking is because again my phone is broken, so I'm holding the phone real close to my face, hoping you can hear me until I fix it. And so I think I dropped it too many times. So anyway, I'm standing online in Starbucks, looking like I look like a biker, and everyone online who I make their skin crawl, I could feel it when someone's skin crawls, and it makes me feel horrific when I'm standing online. I can't stand online like a regular person because of that. Even though I was the first one there, and even if I wasn't, no, I wasn't the first one there. I walk up to the register, and I guess it's sort of like being an unwanted person, but not a criminal. And then I walk up to the counter, and I look at the prices because I want to know what I'm up against. And then if I can't see the price, I ask somebody behind the counter, and if they don't answer me, which they won't answer me, and I ask somebody online, and then I let everyone online go first, but I won't get online because I don't want to. But anyone who's online, I always let them go first, and that's part of martial arts, preventing friction. You don't want to create friction with other people. That's not martial arts. You don't want to create friction with other people. You don't want to accidentally or on purpose. Even when I'm online in the supermarket, if somebody comes up behind me and they're standing too close to me and they're holding a few things in their hand and they're looking at me, and it's a guy, and they're looking at me like, even if I only have one item and they have three, I let them go ahead of me to create no friction, because if I going first, if you're going first, and they're in a hurry, you're in their way. So if I let them go first, and then they're leaving, and that's dislodging any friction, right? Makes sense? So when I go into the store, I already know I'm like that. So I'm able to cut in front of everyone and rouse them up, but not order anything. And they won't get mad because I didn't order, so I'm not cutting anyone off. I'm just standing there at the counter reading the sign. I cannot read the sign from the line. The line's too far away. I walk up. It makes perfect sense if you think about it. If you go into a McDonald's, you can't read the sign if you're far away. And in a rest stop is huge, a huge building. You can't see nothing on the sign. And the reason I'm standing there is because the people who work there are not courteous towards me. I mean, here, look. I weigh 250 pounds, I have long hair, and I dress like a biker. Here, there's my arm. Okay, so when I get online, some people are scared of me, and then but I'm not a violent person. Anyway, so I get online, and okay, so eventually when everyone else is gone, I order my stuff, I pay for it, and there's no cream, half and half. Sure, there's milk. I'm allergic to milk because you can look it up yourself. It has milk has um, more sugar in it, and skim milk has more sugar in it, and cream has less, half and half, and cream has less sugar in it, and then lactose intolerant, and half and half has less lactose, and most people are lactose intolerant, and I am, so, whatever. So, anyway, I asked for half and half, and they cop an attitude with me, and then they won't give it to me for 15 minutes. And my brother's waiting for me, despite that he hates me and stuff. He's still waiting for me. And then, so I walk back up to the counter, and I say, how fucking long is this going to take you? Give me some fucking half and half. And they're like, don't curse at me. I go, you made me pay $4 for this small, tiny cup of coffee, and I'm standing here for 15 minutes. You're waiting for me to walk out. I don't want to drink this black, I mean, I paid you $4. What are you, stupid? Call me stupid. And people online are looking at me like, why am I talking to her that way? Because they know you're doing it on purpose because you're an asshole. That's why. You're not giving me the half and half. I told you. That's how they treat me. You think I'm stupid. You treat me like a nobody. I'm like, you did a fucking half and half. You told me we're washing out the container for 15 fucking minutes? What am I, an asshole? And then, okay, they finally give me the half and half. And as soon as I put it down at the place where you have all the sugar and the milk and stuff, the girl next to me was online waiting for it too. And she's standing like shoulder to shoulder with me, and she's like good looking. So I say, here, you can go first. And then she goes first. And then I take some. And I start to spill it because I get nervous because I'm getting, this guy came over to me and putting his bad energy on me. So I go, here, you want some? Take it. Oh, thank you. And then I realized he didn't even buy a coffee at Starbucks. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? I must be real stupid. These people are taking advantage of me. And then my brother comes over with his boo-boo attitude, and he just bought the two Lipton iced teas from now this is a good sign. I'm pacing. I always used to pace, and I stopped pacing. I probably stopped pacing because I was being abused so much by my family. And I'm pacing again by getting this out of my system. So I appreciate you listening to my story. Because I used to always pace. And then my family's like abusing the shit out of me. And then I'm talking about the family that I was born into, not the ones when I was married twice. Not those. I'm divorced. But I don't live with my family. But anyway, I went with my brother to visit my sister. So he walks over. And he's like, oh, could I have some of the half and half? I'm like, hey, dude, I didn't even like put it in my coffee yet. Whoa, what the fuck is that my fucking problem? I'm like, just shut the fuck up and take it. And by the time I got the half and half, there was almost nothing in the little stainless steel container. I mean, it was a good sized container. I'll show you how big it was. It was sort of like this. The half and half, it was a stainless steel container like this size. So it was probably around, let's say, 12 ounces of half and half. And by the time I handed it to everyone, I almost had nothing left, and I was lucky to get anything out of it because everybody was hoarding. I'm the one who asked for it, by the way. There wasn't no way, shape, or form giving out half and half. I asked for it by name. I'm not paying $4 for a cup of coffee without half and half. So anyway, long story short, my brother pours it into his tea. And then here, you want the clincher? Okay, this is a continuation of the sunglass story from last time. I know it is because I remember now. I went to, this is not in December, this was in March. I went into, um, the, 7-Eleven, like I always, I have not an account, but you know, they have my phone number in 7-Eleven with my name and my address and my email address and all I have to do is type in my phone number when I buy something and I get a discount. So the fact that he thinks I'm going to steal something is beyond retarded. Because when I type in my phone number, they know who I am. They know where I live. They have my address. And so, anyway, I go into 7-Eleven like I always do, right? And so what do? I go and I look for the chocolate milk, because chocolate milk when you're outside of New York City area is always cheaper. I don't know if you know that or not. And chocolate milk is bad for you, but I like chocolate milk. It's very bad for you. It makes me go to the bathroom if I drink it too much. I can only have I bought 2 of them, but go to buy chocolate milk if you don't have to, because it tastes good, but the lactose thing, because it's not, even if it's lactose if it's lactose free, or even if it's made with almond milk, it's just bad for you. It's the chocolate and the sugar and the milk combination. It makes you go to the bathroom like diarrhea. It's bad for you. It's almost like drinking diarrhea. But if you're in a situation where you're not eating, your body will use it as food, and your body can handle it. But you can't drink milk with food. That's the problem with milk. If you drink milk, your body can't digest milk and something else. You can only digest milk alone, and your body can't digest cow's milk after a certain age. So it's a bad thing, and then it tastes really good. So beyond that, I buy it anyway. Just as I'm a vegetarian, and you see me eating turkey sausage, and sometimes I used to eat double cheeseburgers a lot. Remember that? That's because I didn't have any food in the house, not because I like that kind of food. Why do I eat turkey burgers? Why do I eat chicken? Why do I eat turkey sausage? Because it's for the muscles, and if you eat too much bread, it screws you up. There's too much sugar in bread. So then, even as a vegetarian, it's better to eat chicken or turkey. And if you eat steak, I don't eat steak, but eat whatever you want. Just, I prefer vegetarian vegan diet, but sometimes I have to eat meat because to build muscle. But anyway, so I'm not lost here. And then I'm in the 7-Eleven, and I'm grabbing 2 chocolate milks, and maybe I should have gone into the 7-Eleven to get the coffee there. Maybe I am stupid. And then all I got was 2 chocolate milks, and that's it. And then I was looking at these sunglasses. This is why I'm telling you about 7-Eleven. And all of a sudden I get this energy, like I'm fumbling. I'm not the kind of guy to fumble something unless I feel an outside energy on me. All of a sudden I almost drop it and I catch it. I have fast reflexes. I drop it and I catch it in midair. And then I was looking at the price of the sunglasses, because the guy who was like from the Little House on the Prairie show, from the 7-Eleven in Queens, located on Northern Boulevard and I don't know, 50th Street, 51st Street, in the morning at 6 a.m., the guy who looks like the guy from Little House on the Prairie, or the other show, Heaven Can Wait. Not the guy from the Little House on the Prairie, but the other guy with the darker hair, that creep. And then anyway, so then I look across into the hall of the rest stop, and I see my creepy fucking younger brother staring at me as if he knows something, like as if he just gathered information on me, that he caught me in the act. What did you catch me in the act? So he sees me looking at a pair of sunglasses, and he thinks he's catching me stealing a pair of sunglasses because I'm looking at a pair of sunglasses. What kind of a brother is he to begin with to think this about me? I was looking at the sunglasses, and I'm not explaining myself. I'm just saying that I'm looking at the sunglasses because I don't understand what was going on in the other store. And I was saying to myself, how much is a pair of sunglasses in 7-Eleven? I don't buy sunglasses in 7-Eleven. They're cheap. They're bad for your eyes. And I'm looking at these sunglasses. And then I, I, I'm looking at these sunglasses. And then it's $4.99. All of a sudden I almost dropped them, and I catch them, and I see my brother looking at me like, what a piece of shit, you know? Okay, so then let's fast forward out of this whole element of the story. And then in the summertime later on, not this year, but maybe last year, let's say last year. And then it was another time, I guess we were visiting my sister. And no, I wasn't visiting my sister. I just happened to be with my brother. And we went to a garage sale, and the guy was selling a guitar. And my brother was like wasting my time playing it for like 20 minutes straight. And so while he was playing it, I just started looking around, and then she had a pair of sunglasses for sale, and she had some other stuff, and it came out to like $8, and I gave her $10, and her husband was showing my brother how the guitar, and I don't like listening to some asshole playing guitar. And so I was just looking at the stuff for sale, and then I got back in his car. And then when I'm speaking to my brother, I don't realize that's how stupid I am. I don't realize how much he hates me. He hates me so much that he probably wants me to die. And then he says to me, because he speaks like boo-boo, how could I not say that when it's true? It's so ridiculous. But he goes, boo-boo, hey, boo-boo, hey, Yogi, you want to, my son. I mean, who in this world speaks like boo-boo? It's really weird. I remember when I was in summer camp, we used to make fun out of boo-boo. And then, so I knew how to do that. I knew how to do that cartoon character because I played boo-boo on stage once, in case you're wondering why it's so significant for me. Because I actually did that. I played that cartoon character on a sketch in summer camp, and that's why I can do it so well. I don't even know if I'm doing boo-boo or Yogi, but Yogi, I don't know. And then, okay, so this is what happened. Look, I was in the garage sale, and there was a pair of, these are the exact ones I'm talking about. You see that? Let me get some more light. You see that? You want to see my guitar so I can look more cool? Yeah, there's my guitar. Here's my sunglasses. Alright, so, these sunglasses, and then she had them for sale. It's a garage sale. Why am I explaining this to you? Because I'm being verbally abused by my younger brother. Verbally abused. I'm somebody who's like a lyricist and studied poetry, who studied psychology, and I'm being abused by a narcissist who's trying to twist it and make me into the bad person. I'm the bad person. He's the little angel cake. He's an angel food cake. And I'm the bad one, right? I'm the bad person. I try so hard to get along with him, and he's such a fucking asshole. It's like sitting in his car. I think I'm having a normal conversation with my younger brother, and I don't realize I'm talking to God or something like that. What a fucking asshole thinking he's God. You're not God. I'm very religious. And then, you know, Narcissistic people worship themselves, is what I'm saying to you. I don't worship people. I don't worship narcissistic people, and you're not God. You're just somebody who has a mental condition, and your lack of education and plagiarism. You're not God. So he turns to me and he says to me, as he turns to me, he says to me, where'd you get those, remember he's boo-boo, where'd you get those sunglasses? Okay, you can catch the vibe in that sentence. And I'm good at imitating people. It's such a badass sentence that's putting me down. I say I stole him. I stole it. What's the correct term? I don't use the word it as a phrase because that's like a pronoun that is too pronounced. I say I stole him, but when you say the word em, because it starts with a vowel, you sound like a wimp, you know? So that, I'm saying this because that's how he hears me, like he's dominant, like he's an alpha male. So when I say I stole him, you see how it makes your voice go down? That's a problem. If you're a woman and you're being picked on in a relationship by a man who's narcissistic, that's one of the reasons they pick on you. Because when your voice goes down, they want you to be scared of them. And even if it's a mistake, see, when a narcissistic person asks you a question, they're putting their bad energy into you. It's not a matter of a conversation. You don't have to answer to them. Where'd you get those sunglasses? Even though he sounds like a cartoon character, by the act of answering him, you're absorbing their hatred. So they go, where'd you get the sunglasses? If you say to them, go fuck yourself, they're going to say, oh, I knew you stole them. I don't know, I'm getting weird messages. I don't know what's going on. And then, okay, so you understand that, right? This is about narcissism. Everything I'm saying to you is about narcissistic hate directed towards me. Where'd you get those sunglasses? So I try to be cool. I try to play it off. I try to be cool. You cannot be cool with a narcissist. They hate so much. They hate you so much. I stole him right away. He's on his high horse. He's dead? You know, it's like talking to a retard. He's dead? Yeah, Oliver, I stole him. I said, listen, what are you, a fucking asshole? I just gave her fucking $10 instead of $8. And I told her to keep the change, like, right in front of you. What are you, fucking stupid? Are you fucking blind or deaf? Huh? You know, like they raised the volume to different pitches of retardation. I'm like, what are you didn't see me pay for them? And then he's looking at me with his mouth open as if I stole him. I'm like, why don't you call 911? And so for the next, like, 7 months after that, he abused me by me saying to him, first he was asking me, okay, we left the whole scene. We left the situation. Okay, he drove away from the garage sale. And for the next 2 or 3 months, he kept asking me, what street was that on? And he kept circling around trying to find the garage sale because he wanted to buy that guitar. Okay? So remember, a narcissistic person always abuses you and has to have, like, ammunition. And then when I finally figured out what street it is, and I told him it was on 43rd Street, and then he said to me, why do I need to know that? Narcissistic people have so much hatred in themselves. I feel sorry for you if you're like a girl in a narcissistic relationship with a guy. And if you're a guy and you're in a narcissistic situation with a girl, well, I just hope you're having sex with them and they're good looking. But if you're a girl, a guy is more abusive towards a girl. A girl is different. She can be abusive with your money, but, which is bad. But a guy is physically abusive, which is dangerous. And a brother is not a brother. You see, I just answered his own question, and I still got punched in the face with his mouth. Oh, it was on 43rd. Why do I need to know that? What a stupid thing to say. And then no matter what I say, I'm wrong. And then I never even asked him because you asked me, because I don't give you any time or space to ask the question. I'm incapable of asking him or saying, oh, because he'll cut you off. Even if you're telling him anything, I'll cut you off. So you think that for all of you people who hate me, I know a lot of people hate me, Andrew Trucker, motorcycle calling me, leaving stupid negative lie messages, feedback about me. I never even met you before. Then I answered the phone and saying I spoke to this gentleman and I was going to give him my business. And bullshit. I never spoke to you. I answer the phone, I go, hello? And they go, hello? Like a question, hello? And I go, yeah, hello. Oh, so this is how you answer the phone? I go, well, yeah. I say hello. How am I supposed to answer it? What do you want? And then they're like, well, you're highly unprofessional. I'm like, what do you want me to say when I answer the phone? That I need to suck your balls? I mean, what do you want? Tell me what the job is. I'll just call someone else. Or along those lines, some of them are like that. Or somebody could be calling me when I have my GPS on, and I keep telling them I'll call you later and hanging up because they're shutting off my GPS on my phone when I'm driving, and I need it. And they call again. I say I'll call you back. I'll call you back, and I hang up, and then call again. Ring, ring, because they want immediate service. And then I go, yes, I'll call you back. I hang up, and then I call them back. They've already blocked me, and it says that they were calling me to get their scooter repaired, and that the gentleman was very rude and hung up on me several times, which is not true. I answered the phone and I said, I'll call you back. What part of that is hard to understand? Driving a truck on the road and I say I'm going to call you back. There's no need to leave a one-star hate rant feedback about someone unless you just feel, I don't know, like, who the hell would want to, I don't even know where to go with that. All I know is I answered the phone, and I don't know. I can't. And then when I get 5-star feedback on a job that I did, that's fine. But a 3-star feedback, a 4-star, it's the purpose of the job that I did, or it kills my business a lot. And so, if you're wondering if I was going to break it down to you about problems and stuff like that, is that the amount of money I charge for a tow is equally balanced with the equipment that I can have. If people want me to charge them low, cheap prices, then I can only have basic equipment. But if I want to do jobs with certain, like, brand new bikes coming out of a dealership, then it requires a different truck. And so, even though I can tell you in an emergency situation with my truck, dealerships want people to have certain types of vehicles with certain types of towing capabilities and equipment, and those people charge more money, obviously, unless they're getting like tons and tons and tons of jobs per day. But then what they do is, like, they would get a big Sprinter van and they would just collect all the jobs for one day and schedule you to pick up on a specific day, and they would tow the bikes like from 7 a.m. till 1 p.m. and it's not a situation where you broke down. And then what they would do is they get like 7 jobs and they would price it accordingly to how the dealer tells them to price it. And if they get 7 jobs at $100 each, that's $700. It's not going to be 100. I'm just giving you an example of math. And if they get 7 jobs at $200 each, that's $1,400 a day. And it's going to be, some of them are going to be more than $200. And they're going to make that killing because they're not going to you when you break down. They're scheduling you when you have a dealership tow that you have to wait for your upcoming transport, and that only works if your bike is already towed to your location. So I only do emergency towing, transporting. I don't do dealership tow for that reason, because one, you would need a Sprinter, and one of my drivers has a Sprinter, but we don't do that kind of stuff. Or two, if you just purchase a bike and you call us and you're at a dealership, it might take us 2 hours to get there, and we'll do it, and the other guy will only do it if his truck is empty, but whatever, you know. So anyway, one thing leads to the other, and the whole story has to do with this. I see a lot of stuff about narcissism on YouTube, but none of it talks about the action of acting and how you're treated in reality time. They're explaining to you the terminology of narcissistic hate. I am not going to explain to you the terminology of narcissistic hate, because I don't want to teach you terminology, but I will warn you about things. I'm not teaching you about survivalism. I'm not teaching you how to play guitar, but I am warning you that if you are being abused in a narcissistic, hateful relationship, it seriously messes up your life, because it cripples you. It cripples you in terms of being able to meet people, being able to talk to people, being able to take care of yourself, being able to go to the store, how you feel in public, being able to drive your own vehicle, spend your own money. It's put down after put down after put down after put down. It's like they'll start gaslighting everything about you. Why do they have this hatred? It's something from childhood that they carry. And why is it directed at me? I don't know. And why is it easier for families to do it? It seems to be a family sickness and a relationship sickness, that when you're supposed to trust someone, it's easier for them to do it to you. And it isn't just narcissism. Narcissism is connected directly to murderers. And like that guy, you know that guy, Rex Heuermann? I can make that into a topic next time. Do you know I ran into him once at Bayside, Queens, and nobody knew that he had anything to do with Bayside, Queens until the end. And then in the end, they found out everything I was saying was true. I was in contact with the police, telling them about Rex Heuermann and what he did to me. Rex Heuermann tried to do something to me. He told me he had a gun and he was going to cut my head off with it, or whatever he was saying. I don't know what he was saying. Yeah, I had a little weapon on me too, Rex Heuermann, and with his big fucking mouth. The guy was like 7 feet tall, and he said he was going to hurt me. And I was on my way to the wilderness, and I was carrying a very large knife that you couldn't see it. And I didn't pull it out or nothing like that, but he told me he had a gun, and he said he was going to cut off my head or something. I don't know. He was very scary. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. He's a very big guy, and I met him in like 1996. He was young, and he was actually good looking. That's why I didn't understand what was wrong with him. You see, what happened was he stole my parking space, and then I let him have it. Remember I told you no friction? And then as I came over to the side to see who stole it, because he had tinted windows, he was driving a Jeep. He ended up putting a tracker on my car, I think, because I ran into him too many times after that. And he tried to kill me a few times, but he didn't. And then I walked up to his window. I had my dog in the car because I was double parked waiting for a spot. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he told me, "If you want the spot, you're going to have to fight for it." I said, "I don't want the spot. You can have it." And I drove away, and I parked in the parking lot down the street. And the only reason I wanted to park my car there is because I had a a big dog in my car, and I thought it would be better for the dog. And so then I figured, I went inside the bagel store. He's a psychopath, Rex Human. And then I went inside the bagel store. He's watching me with these dirty eyeballs all the way as I was walking down the sidewalk through the glass in the bagel store. And the name of the bagel store doesn't exist anymore. It was the one in Bayside called If a Seagull Flies Over the Sea, What Flies Over the Bay? A bagel. And so that was the name of the store. He used to go there all the time. And I went inside the store like I always used to go. I was going to that store since the 80s. So to me, it was just midnight, and they were going to close at midnight. So it was a little bit before midnight. I had to get there before midnight. So I always walked around with a bagel with butter, a plain bagel with butter on it, and a small cup of coffee. Right? I'm turning off the fan because it's rumbling. So I would go in the store when Rex the asshole wasn't there, and I get normally I just go in and get a bagel with butter and a small coffee. But when Rex Human is there, he's a big fucking asshole. He's standing backwards online, and I'm standing 3 people away from him, like 15 feet away from him, and he's not only staring at me, he was talking to me. And you want to know what he said to me? I know I don't want to say what he said to me, even though he's Rex Human, but I'll tell you what he said to me. I said, "What are you looking at?" And he said to me, I'll tell you what I'm looking at. He said, "I'll cut off your head and spit down your neck." Doesn't that sound like something he would say? He didn't say spit down your throat. He said spit down your neck. Nobody says that. And then I was thinking, well, he's not coming at me. But then he says to he knew the lady, the old lady that worked there, and I think she owned it. They're doing construction. That's not me making that noise. And so he says to the lady, "Can you tell Pedro in the back to give me a steak knife?" And she thought it was he wanted to use it to slice up the bagels he was getting for him and his wife. Now, this is the time when he just got married and he just had this first baby, and he used to go there all the time. And he used to buy a bagel with peanut butter and jelly on one for his young son or whatever, and then he would buy a bagel with cream cheese for his wife, and the bagel he would buy like. It came out to $19.41 or $19.83, and back then the bagels were like a bagel with butter was probably like $1.60, and coffee was a little bit more than $1. So you figure if it was $2 a bagel, he must have purchased like 4 bagels, like one with peanut butter and jelly, one with peanut butter, one with cream cheese, one with cream cheese. Probably got like 2 coffees or 3 coffees. I don't know, but back then you can get a lot more for your bang. I don't use that terminology. I'm just trying to for your money. I don't say for your bang for your buck. I don't speak that way. All right, I'm not. My parents are not from these countries, so I don't speak that way. But anyway, a lot more money for your bang. No, a lot more bang for your money. See, I even said it wrong. Okay, so. Anyway, a lot more money for your bang. That would be hooker terminology. So anyway, I came outside. Remember, this is Rex Human. This isn't a normal person. I came outside. He said he's gonna kick my ass when I come out. And I'll be honest with you. Whenever someone says they're going to kick my ass when I come out, I usually, since they're outside and I'm inside, I'd call 911 because I don't want to get arrested in case something happens or killed. I don't know. I usually call 911. And guess what? Every time I try to call 911 in the store refuses. So I'm in the store. She refuses to call 911 and she starts telling me what a great guy he is. Oh, he didn't mean anything by that. He's a very nice guy. That's how I learned that he was buying it for that he was buying it for his wife, and the old lady said to me, the old hag, she said, "Oh, he's buying it for his wife and has he has a new born child on the way and a young kid, and he's like a newlywed." I said, for a newlywed, he's a fucking big asshole. And he's 7 feet tall, you know. I don't know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, but man, he's fucking 7 feet tall. I don't know if I can take him. Luckily, I have my knife with me. And even then, he was a fucking big guy. And this is when he was young. And he was good looking, actually. But I didn't understand. I was thinking, he's a good looking guy. Maybe he's a basketball player. He was driving a nice Jeep. And she told me, I think, she said he works in Manhattan for a firm. I thought he was a lawyer. I thought she said law firm, but he was an architect. I thought she said he worked for a law firm. But anyway, she said for a firm, and she told me he works in Manhattan, and she knows him. And I don't think she's alive anymore, because she was pretty old back then. Anyway, she was like this short lady. And so I came out. Don't forget, I'm into survivalist stuff. So I came out. I felt this dead energy. My car was down the block in the lot, but I could feel someone who was watching me. I was by the side of the LIE over by Springfield Boulevard. And you can look it up. They found out that he was in that area, and they have a different name for the location, not Bayside, but something else. And then it's the same area, though, but they called it something else. And then I told the police everything with the text messages because I didn't want to have a conversation with the cops. But he came after me a number of times, so he must have put some kind of device on my vehicle. Because he kept finding me. Once on the beach, on Jones Beach, he drove his Jeep up onto Jones Beach. Another time I was in Alley Pond Park. He tried to run me over. He came up out of the street, onto the sidewalk, into the grass. And I was into martial arts, so luckily I was able to run and jump. And he tried to run me over. So he almost killed me, but he didn't. But anyway, to me back then it wasn't a big deal, because I was pretty agile. And on the beach, I was underneath an underpass. He drove by me really fast, and he went down towards the ocean. And then I was walking my dog, and I had no control over my dog because my dog was off the leash, and my dog wanted so badly to go to the ocean. But when I got to the middle of the underpass and the Jeep just went through, I knew that the Jeep was coming back because I could feel it. And then I was like, I'm not going through. I was in the middle of it. I said, no, I'm not. My dogs are being an asshole. He won't listen to me. I said, come over here to my dog. Come on. My dog's name was Storm. Come on, Storm. And then I could hear the Jeep revving its engine, you know, on the beach. And I was thinking, man, the guy, I thought he would go on the beach and just hang out or go someplace. But I could feel that someone was going to come through there really fast and kill me. And I was already thinking, you know, like the Equalizer, that they can't go to the beach too fast because they'll sink. And I was already looking around how to escape. And I was already thinking I was going to climb up to the highest point in the sand, because there were these big dunes. And I was thinking that he can't make it up the dune. But I was overthinking it. He couldn't even come nearly halfway up the dune. But then all of a sudden, the Jeep came flying through as fast as he can, trying to kill me, just like in Alley Pond Park. And I had already backed out of the tunnel because I knew he was going to do that. I couldn't see him though, but I could hear him revving his engine. So for most people, it might make them curious. But when I heard him revving his engine, I knew he was going to. I could just feel him like smashing me into the wall or something. And I fucking ran out of there, and my dog stayed there. I was like, go fuck yourself, dog. Go to the beach, have fun, go kill yourself. I told you like 12 times to my dog, come on, let's go. So anyway, I ran up to the top of a dune, and he came by and he said, I'll catch you next time. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, I'll kill you next time. And I was like, no, you won't. And then he like smiled at me. This is at Jones Beach. This is Rex Heuermann. He was driving a black Jeep in 1996 or something like that. You know how I know what year it is? Because in 1996 I was driving a brown muscle car, and I didn't have that car very long. And when I was in the bagel store, he must have placed some kind of a tracking device on me, because how else would he keep running into me unless he was able to track me? And then, so when I came out of the bagel store, he was in his Jeep, and I was looking around. I didn't see him. I didn't see anyone trying to kill me, because he said he was going to meet me outside and, whatever, and shoot me, he said. And then all of a sudden, the lights of his Jeep came on, and he took off. And I felt really paralyzed, because what an asshole. I'm thinking he was sitting in this Jeep with tinted windows, watching me as I'm standing on the sidewalk. And I knew somebody was looking at me, but I didn't know he was in his Jeep, because I was too stupid to remember, that. I thought he was going to be standing. I was looking for someone who was standing on the sidewalk, like a normal fight. But I wasn't looking for a fight. I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't scared. This guy is 7 feet tall, and he said he was going to shoot me. What kind of defense could I possibly have against him shooting me if the person inside did not call 911? And I didn't have a cell phone on. No, I did have a cell phone, but I guess I didn't. I guess back then I wouldn't use my cell phone for stuff like that, because then the cops will call you back, and you sound like a giddy little girl. At least if I told the store to call 911, I could just leave. I'd say your customer said he was going to shoot me, have the police come over, and I could just leave while the police are coming looking for him. But she said no. I didn't want to call from my cell phone, because then the police will make me stay there because I called the police. You can't just call the police and leave, because then it's like a fake police call. You can't call the police and then drive away, because you can get in trouble for that. So that's why I was asking her to call, so I can just have the cops on the way with their guns. He said he was going to shoot me, and then counterbalance. I didn't know how. I wasn't trying to handle him with my knife and stuff. My knife stayed hidden and strapped to where it was. I had a hunting knife on me in case of emergency. Why did I have a hunting knife on me? Because a couple of times when I was walking around in Ellie Pond Park, I was being followed. Somebody was hiding behind a tree. Somebody, I guess, my friend said somebody was chasing us. I didn't see anyone chasing us, because something happened where they found a dead body once over by the parking lot. And then there was, I went into the bathroom once when the park was closed to use the bathroom, and somebody came in the bathroom while I was in an enclosed space and walked in, and I felt very vulnerable. And they were hiding someplace, I would imagine, unless I'm wrong. And I would look around, I didn't see anyone. There were no cars. I went into the bathroom. The bathroom had, everything was working, and I don't think the lights were working, no, but the bathroom was working. And I couldn't tell you. Somebody walked in. Even though I weighed less then, because I was skinny, turned my attention towards them, and they probably were looking for a girl. I don't know. Probably was some kind of a creep. And many, many, many times in Forest Park, I was chased and followed by people. Many times Forest Park was worse. That's how I learned martial arts faster. I used to go into bad places in the middle of the night so I could learn martial arts faster. And then I would be in Forest Park, and I would climb a tree when someone was following me, and I would see them looking for me. Maybe he was. I would actually hear them below me. I used to specialize in climbing when I did martial arts, and I could climb a tree really fast. And um, I would see them below me saying, maybe he went this way. Shh, maybe he went this way. And they were like hunting for me. Forest Park is dangerous. And then one thing I'll tell you before I go, especially in the woods, never shake anyone's hand because they'll grab your hand if they're bigger than you and they won't let go. Never make physical contact. You learn that probably in wrestling and fighting and stuff like that. Even a woman could do that to you. If a woman is big, if you interlock fingers with a woman and they don't let go, you're screwed. The only way to make them, this happened to me once. There was a big fat Russian bitch, and she told me she was going to kick the shit out of me. So I got really pissed off when I came out of my car, and I said, "What?" And I had her up against the car, like, without touching her. But she put her hands up, I don't know why, and she went to, I don't know what happened, but somehow we interlocked fingers. This is a long time ago, and this is like 20-something years ago. And she was a big fat cow, and she was threatening the shit out of me when I was driving and punching my car, maybe. I think she kicked my door. But it came out. I go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And she said, "You hit me." I go, "How could I hit you? You punched the side of my fucking truck." And then it came out. I go, "What are you touching my van for?" And then she put up her hands like a monster. And like a stupid idiot, I didn't think a woman could have power. A woman can have a lot of power. And I thought she was an old woman, but maybe she wasn't that old. And she interlocked fingers. She was heavy. She was way heavier than me. And she interlocked fingers with me. And it's not that she was stronger than me. I wasn't trying to hurt her. So I was being gentle. The problem was I couldn't get her fingers out of my fingers. When the interlocked fingers, I don't know if she's clutching her fingers or what she was doing, or if she's a professional Russian finger interlocker fat cow bitch. But I couldn't get her to release my fingers, my hands. So I was looking around at people that were walking by, and they were all shaking their heads at her because they knew I couldn't get off of it. They saw that she had interlocked with me, and they saw that the look on my face like I can't get my hands out of there. And I was saying, "Tell her to let go." And she wouldn't let go. So I said to the people walking by, I said, "Well, there's one way to make her let go." And so I pushed her in, I backed her into a car. And then when her back went up against the car, she let go. You know, like when I mean I backed her into a car, like not in not in the lightest fashion, in a way that would make her let go from the impact. And then she let go, and then I was like completely like drained. I was like, wow, I fucking thought it would only take like 3 seconds to tell her not to punch my car, and it ended up taking like, I don't know, a minute or two for her. Like it just like, my car was running, my door was open. I was like, I wanted to get back into my car so nobody steals it. And she's like, just my fingers interlocked. So don't ever shake hands with anyone in the woods, no matter what, unless you're shaking hands like for real with someone, but not with, because I ran into somebody once who was doing graffiti in the Forest Park, and he got mad at me for crossing the tracks. So he walked over to me and he asked me if I was a cop, and I said no. And then he went to shake my hand and he wouldn't let go. And then when he saw me that I was freaking out and I was going to do something, or I already started to do something, I don't know, I might have been reaching for a weapon or something, and then he let go. But he wouldn't let go of my hand. He was looking at me in my face like he was going to do something. And then when he saw the look on my face, I'm not one of those people that you know hold on to my hand for like a long amount of time before I have a reaction. It's going to be a few seconds when I realize that he's trying to hurt me, and it's going to be a few seconds before I do something. It's not going to be an elongated amount of time. So when he does that, I'm not saying I'm tough or anything like that, but it's a reaction. I'm on the tracks. A train could come. I'm on the tracks. The fucking guy's holding my hand. He won't let go. He won't let go. He won't let go. He won't let go. Okay, I'm reaching for something, or I'm gonna punch him. One or the other. I don't know what it was. And then he let go. And then he started talking to me a lot. And I just said, you know what? I made a mistake. I shouldn't have shook his hand. I'm going to distance myself from him and just tell him, I don't care if you do graffiti, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you, whatever. He's like pretending he wants to be friends. Just be careful in the woods in the city, because that's the most dangerous. The worst is probably Central Park. Forest Park isn't the worst one. They say that Highland Park was really bad. I went there and I drove into the Highland Park at night and I went into the parking lot. I'm not going to the woods in Highland Park, but it didn't have a bad vibe there though. But Forest Park was full of gay people that were meeting there, and some gay people are very like to carry knives, and they hate you if you're not gay, and they'll attack you. It's like a meeting place. And there also used to be a lot of people used to bring cars into Forest Park and chop them up. In Alley Palm Park, sometimes you would see them dumping car parts on the parts where you could drive. I've seen that. And then there was some kind of, I don't know of a lot of murders. I know there, you could look it up on the internet. I know there was one body found in the parking lot area, and I think there was a boy found in the swamp that got lost. I don't know when that was. That's something I remember reading. But you could look that up, but I don't know. And then I don't know what year that was. I mean, you could look it up. But if someone finds a boy in the swamp, I would tend to think that he was murdered. I wouldn't think that he accidentally fell in the swamp. That's not a normal thing for someone to do, to fall into a swamp. But that wouldn't make any sense to me. If somebody found a body in a swamp, that would have to be a murder situation, is what I think. Oh, I know what. A lot of times when I used to go into Bayside, Alley Palm Park, I would notice when I used to practice with a basketball, the most creepiest creeps on the world used to always, playground stuff, used to always watch me while I was playing basketball. And then after that, I would go into the park at night. But you couldn't catch me because I was very fast. There's no way in hell. I mean, really, even if you were standing with me, I would lose you because I could run through the dark because I knew every trail. And I could run through trails that you didn't even know existed in the nighttime because I used to go there a lot. And you wouldn't even know where, even if you were running after me, you wouldn't even know which way I went. And the other thing was, there were people a few times that in the daytime things happened. Once at night at a certain spot, these two guys, a man, a Spanish guy, and his son or brother, and they were walking around. He got mad at me because I didn't say hi to him. I didn't like the way he said hi to me, like I have to say hi to him. And then he asked me if I wanted to fight, and I said no. I don't want to fight, because he told his kid to stand back. And then he was probably a fighter, like a boxer or something like that. And I just don't like being forced into having to say hi to someone who I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know. Usually you say hi to someone, you open the door. So, oh my God. Anyway, so that was in the fight. that was he came over to me and said, you wanna fight? I was like, no. I mean, he came over to me like to my face, and like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, do I want to fight? What I was trying to do was, he was walking around, and I seen someone coming, and there were two guys, a little kid, and I was actually watching him to see if he was abducted. I wasn't watching him, but I was walking and I stood still. I mean, when I say watching him, I was noticing. I wasn't watching, but I did notice people walking. There's a certain section that has stairs. I seen him coming up the stairs. I had just gone down the stairs, and I was coming up the stairs, and he was going down the stairs. And this is the part of Ellie Pond where they have the pond that's called Ellie Pond. That pond that Ellie Pond Park is named for, because they have swamps in there that look like, they have little other ponds in there, but the one pond that Ellie Pond Park is named for has stairs. So I walked down the stairs. I did not see anything. And then I walked back up the stairs, and he was coming down the stairs. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, if not later, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he says hi to me, and I thought that was very unconventional. So I don't want to be a pussy, and someone says hi to me, and like, oh, hi, how are you? And it's not my cup of tea. So he says hi to me, and I just kind of like, I'm a withdrawn type of person, and then I don't say anything. And he's going down the stairs, and then when I get to the top of the stairs, I'm standing there, and because he stopped walking, and he's turning around looking at me, and then he comes back up, and he's with his kid, and I was looking, thinking, is he taking that kid down there to kill him, and then he comes over to me, and I start to realize that's his nephew or son. I don't know if it was his son, probably his younger brother. And he told him to stand over there. And then, or maybe he was trying to kill him. He said to the kid, stand over there. And then he says to me, do you want to fight? Oh, maybe he was a murderer. And he says to me, do you want to fight? I wasn't even thinking straight. You see how stupid I am? Man, I wasn't even thinking. Oh. I thought you were leaving. And then, anyway, so, no, you probably want to hear a story about me getting into a fight. I'll tell you one. One time I was walking my dog, and I was in Ellie Pond Park, and my dog was loose, right? And this guy, he was a pretty big guy, and I wasn't thinking anything bad at all. My dog liked to would jump up on people, and I had no control over it. So the guy was coming to me. The guy was walking to me. The guy was walking towards me into the space I was letting my dog loose. And the guy was saying, this is in the middle of the woods, not on the trail, where there's leaves and weeds and no trail. And he was walking over to me. He was talking really tough. He said to me, he was a big guy. He looked like a farmer, a white guy. He said, if that dog jumps up on me, I'm going to kill that dog. And I was kind of like sensitive to that. And so, basically, I said, oh no, you're not. And he said, yeah, I will. Yes, I am. And then all of a sudden, my dog was jumping up on him all happy and soft. And he's saying, oh, you better get your dog off of me. And I was like, why the fuck are you coming over here? Oh, you better get your fucking dog off me right now before I kill it. I said, what do you mean? And then he's like, I think I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I think he gave the dog the knee. I think he gave the dog the knee because the dog was jumping up on him, and I think he gave the dog the knee. Oh, that's why, because someone's saying something while I'm speaking. So I think he gave the dog the knee. Every time I say the knee, somebody else is talking, and it was making my throat clog up. So I think he gave the dog the knee. I'm going to use the bathroom. I think he gave my dog, the the knee. Last time I say knee, it sounds bad. I think he gave the dog the knee. No, I can't say it right. How's there supposed to be a space in there? I think he gave the dog the. I'm not even going to say that word because I can't say it. Somebody was yelling at me while I was saying it. That's why I was in another room. And they were saying, get out of the bathroom. So every time I would say, I think they gave the dog, they would say, get out of the bathroom. Whatever they were saying, I don't know what they were saying. So then I started, my voice started to lock up on that. Anyway, so the guy was saying that I need to hurry up and get my dog. Okay, now I'll say it. They went in the bathroom. So I think he gave the dog the knee. And then, because the dog was up on him, and he was threatening me to get the dog off of him. And when the dog jumped up, I think he gave the dog the knee, because the dog went, oof, like that. And then I was like, get the fuck off my dog, man. Get away from him. Get your dog off of me. Like, how am I going to not get my dog off of you when you are the one who's walking over to me? That's what, the dog was being friendly to him because my dog is stupid. It was a golden retriever. And then it's like, you're walking over to me saying, get your dog off of me. And then I was into heavy martial arts at the time. I would spend like 8 hours a day practicing. And I was like, I would accidentally break windows and stuff when someone started a fight with me. Like, and if somebody was driving a car, I don't know, I would accidentally punch things with no control. And so he came over to me, whatever, to the dog. So what do you think happened? I didn't punch him, but I put my fist in his face and I shoved it into his eye socket. I said, you're going to get this fist through your fucking skull if you don't get the hell away from me. He fucking ran away, calling 9 and saying, help, help, police, police, police. Well, what do you want me to do? You're threatening to kill my dog. At the same time, you're walking towards me in the middle of nowhere. How am I going to get my dog off of you when he's already off the leash? What do you think? I have some kind of magic potion word that says it's not my finger and a wild animal? I mean, not a wild animal. He was a wild animal. You think he's going to obey me? Like I have some kind of like, I got him from a shelter. He's not, obviously he's not listening to me. If you want him to get off of you, then walk away from me. Why are you walking towards me and saying, get your dog off of me? Are you trying to collect insurance money? My dog doesn't bite. So just get the fuck away from me. And he wouldn't get me away from me. So I said, all right, so you want to fight? All right, fine. So I put my fist in his face. I touched him. I said, get the fuck away from me, man. I said, you're coming at me, screaming at me, saying, get your dog off of me. It's time for you to back off. And then, yeah, he left. This is years ago. This is in the 80s. And then I was like 19. I was like young. I was like probably 22. And then he started calling help, police. I mean, he's help, police. No one's chasing you. No one's doing anything to you. No one's touching you. I'm walking away from you. The only reason I did that is because you're coming after me in the middle of the woods, saying, "Get your dog off of me." But he was following me. He was following me. He was saying, "Get your dog off of me." And at the same time, I was walking away from him, and he kept following me, saying, "Get your dog off of me." I'm like, "What are you, stupid? How am I supposed to get my dog off of you when you're chasing me?" Anyway, I'm gonna go.